So today we often like to talk about family, life and relationships. But it's really difficult to discuss that, especially in the midst of the fact that there's no naira. Every single day we're having to queue long hours to withdraw from the ATM. We find people, videos of people going naked in banking halls. Nigerians are groaning because many of them have been Emefiele. Now, how do we find a resolution to this? On one side, people have agreed that the naira new the redesigning and the restriction is a good thing. On the other hand, people are saying it's a bad timing and these things should be done properly. On the third hand, people are saying, oh, it's a sabotage against certain political parties. Others are saying this thing should take time. You don't just do a 360-degree change for such a drastic change in our system, our monetary policy. What are your thoughts on this? We discussed it last week extensively, but now the CBN was so gracious enough to extend it to February 10th. And people are now going to the banks looking for money, and there's still no cash. What do we do? Sometimes we need to talk about these things so that our leaders can see. Maybe they don't have social media. Sometimes they don't see it. Hopefully, they now, with our show, we can communicate what people are going through so they know firsthand. Let me share. I'll start with Tokwe because I know you had an experience. You were in Emefiele recently. What happened to you? Let me let you share your own story.
Of course, everybody is cash strapped. We know that part. But for me, I'm largely cashless, and I tend to just transfer money to people to execute, only for my site engineer to call me. I think it was on Tuesday evening to say that they have not started clearing. They just wanted to let me know. They were supposed to start clearing as of last week Friday, that they have not cleared because they use artisans to do manual. We use artisans to do manual clearing, and these artisans get paid in cash. And that since last week Friday, he's been trying to withdraw money, and he's searched everywhere. In Ekpe, he's gone to the bank. He was telling me that Monday he was in the bank, Tuesday he went to all the banks in Ekpe. Even POS people couldn't give him cash, and that he can't transfer. These laborers don't have accounts. Some of them are from Egun. Yes, they are from Egun, and they don't own accounts here. So they probably work for like 2 weeks, take their money, travel back to their hometown, spend a week, come back again, hustle. So we haven't resolved the issue till now because we've not had access to cash. I was talking to somebody yesterday, and the person said that I can get 300,000 naira, which is the amount we should pay. That, but I'll pay him 60,000 naira. That for every 10,000 is 2,000. So the total was now. I said, so how will I use 60,000 naira
to buy
300? Why would I be buying money? Like I'm buying money. So somebody posted that Nigerian naira is appreciating in the POS market. Yes. That in the market it is appreciating, but my business is stalled. My clearing of land is stalled because I don't have access.
Let us unpack that for a second, because in the long term, what Nigeria is trying to fix is foreigners coming to our shores, for example, coming to take money and leave when we have Nigerians who can do the job. I'm just trying to see the bigger picture. The bigger picture is that you hire Nigerians, pay them through the system where they have an account, and then we can monitor what you're doing so we know how many Nigerians are employed. But if we're bringing in foreigners, for example, we don't have documentation of these guys, so money is going now. So we see the long term, and we see the benefits, because even when I go abroad, I can't work. But if I have to work under the table, they're trying to stop us from working under the table because that doesn't go through the banking system. But we still do. But I'm saying that the long-term picture is trying to fix a country where there's money passing around and the country cannot document or trace where is money moving to. So just so that to see the good and the bad parts. But the short term is that it's hurting your business right now because these workers...
It's hurting me temporarily. It's hurting the workers more. Some of the workers are Nigerians. Some of them are non-Nigerians.
They're Nigerians, they should have bank accounts.
No, all Nigerians don't need to have a bank account. Why would I have a bank account?
That's what they're trying to do. That's what Emefiele want to do.
Emefiele cannot insist every Nigerian has a bank account if my entire income is less than 30,000 naira in a month. And then if I put my money in the bank, every time I'm withdrawing that 1,000 naira, they're charging me 10 naira or 26 naira. That means my money, why is my small money going to be supporting huge banks? I should be allowed to earn my small money and spend my small money without funding your system.
Okay. All right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Let me come to you.
Oh, okay.
Have you been Emefiele?
I said,
yes,
I'm not
you
been able
told
to sell some of my products because I produce them myself and I have to go to the local market to source them, especially the fruits. And I don't have cash to pay the local women. So if you are looking for fruits now, you can't get. We have to wait till Emefiele releases us from where he has kept us.
Fruits are perishing.
Yes, fruits are perishing in the market. Nobody's buying. So I understand the big picture and I agree with the, trying to sort out the big picture, trying to fish out those corrupt people who pass money under the table and in Ghana must goes and all that. I understand that. But in making a policy as strong as this that would affect the economy, you should have conversations with stakeholders. And when I say stakeholders, not people who wear suit and tie and sit on the table and bang table and speak English and drink coffee with Chinese biscuits and all that and leave. I'm talking about people on the streets, people who are daily workers, who earn wages, who they pay daily pay. So if you work today, you eat. If you don't work today, you don't have food to eat. Those are the people you should have a conversation with. And when you set out this policy, you must ensure that you protect their interests. What do I mean by that? So you know the banks that are situated in local villages and all those places.
Yes.
You know the people who do business with POS transactions in those local areas. You would insist that the ATMs are funded. You see, what I see in the banking sector is because you are a high-profile client, you need cash. You just call, uncle, I'm sending my boy down. Give him 1 million. In the new cash that you have not sorted out the people you are supposed to be protecting. So what I see here is just selfishness of the elites. They sat down in their homes, they got this money delivered to them, and they did not care about how it would affect those people who don't even have money in account. So, so we are complaining now that we don't have cash, right? But we still have money in our accounts. There are people who cannot eat because they are not getting that daily cash. You didn't put them into consideration. You made the policy all well and good. We're thinking about the big picture, and your populace, which is over 80%, are crying right now. This is unfair. You know the right thing to do. So do that right thing. Print more money and fund those ATMs in those places. Let those people have cash to do their business.
And if you have okay, this is now talking speculatively. If there's a personal agenda, because that's what El Rufai said, Tinubu said it. If there's an agenda here, because, I lost the primaries, just speculating again, and I must show you that I have the power to stop you. That presidency you want to go to, I will stop you. But should we use the Nigerian economy as a personal vendetta against somebody? I mean, that's just speculation again, because we're not sure. We can't verify these things. These are stories.
And that's a dangerous speculation that one person can even do that, where there should be a system of checks and balances.
God bless
that
you.
how dare you think that only you can decide to do that? If that is possible, we're in dangerous times, and we need to do something quickly to put that into...
To decentralize that kind of power. How can one person just say,
yes,
this is it, and that's it?
So when we ask questions and you come in and with a face that you don't really care, I only answer to the president and I don't care what you're going through. That's it. We have to sort that out. But I've been Emefiele in so many ways. And this is, for me too, my concern is for those who do not even have enough money to put in the bank because they live daily. Someone put up a meme, funny. He says, me, I don't even have any money in the bank. I just stand on the queue. And then I pay, then people pay me for my space. And I go back and say, as I'm talking now, I've made 12,000 naira today. Just by keeping space on the queue. It may just be, Nigerians can be funny. But yes, that, I said this, I think last week when we talked about it, that we talk about how our economy is largely informal. And we talk, and every time we want to talk about how to boost our economy, we have these flowery words about how we want to build the SMEs. We want the macro businesses to do well. We're providing this, resources, this product for the SMEs, but we really don't care about them. It's just a nice thing to say, because if we cared about them, we understand what they are going through now. And obviously, it seems we do not see it, we don't care. Because I have a staff who said to me that I've been unable to come to work via bus because I don't have cash. I've been working. I've been working because there's no cash to pay. Not that I don't have money, but I don't even have the cash to pay. The Nigerian sitting at the CBN. Do you know that there are some people who have money? They cannot even pay for public transport because there's no cash in their pocket. They are walking long distance.
Let me help them explain that. Because when you said that, it might fly over somebody's head.
Yes.
Let's break it down. What that person is saying, Mr. Emefiele, is that the cash on me, I have spent it. Usually, I will go to the ATM to withdraw. But I get to the ATM, I see a long queue of almost a 2 hour. I stand in the queue. Finally, I get into that place, and maybe there's no cash. And when I finally get cash, I probably get the old note. So I only have a limit of 5,000, or maybe 10,000, or maybe 20,000 naira. Now, of that 20,000 naira, I have to also buy food in the house, my mom, buy this in the house. So I am left with this. Usually something I can easily transfer. But the point is that that girl is having an issue because there is no cash for her to get to work.
This is your country.
Let's talk about racketing. So there is the hardship, and then there is exploitation.
And the parties we've seen.
There is a huge exploitation of the desperation of Nigerians to get access to money. So because we were trying to buy, the queue, we are trying to get fuel, and you queue up for over an hour to get fuel, and then you get to the filling station and they say their POS is not working, and they know that everybody is hustling to get cash. You now say, my POS is not working, you have to go and withdraw from that POS machine. So I would, within the same filling station, want to buy fuel of 10,000, I will use 2,000 naira to collect the 10,000 naira that I will pay to the fuel attendant right there. That is complete racket because they are all in the league. The money is going from one person's pocket into another within the same setting. And CBN knows that when they create policies like this, people will find loopholes to take advantage and make life even more difficult for us. The grandstanding, we've already complained about it. We can't stand.
I think he started talking to us. He was grandstanding before. At least we spoke to him.
He has given
us on Monday.
They gave us a 10-day extension, but the old currency is still not a legal tender. They're not giving us in the bank to use, and there is no new money coming out. So essentially, they are collecting and mopping up cash. What would it cost you to say I've achieved my goal at the detriment of the loss of lives?
Loss of livelihood.
The loss of life, loss of livelihood. Because what the CBN government has to do is to say, we've achieved 75% of our goal, we still have 900 million naira out there. We want to mop up that 900 million naira, and then one day it will come out and say, we have successfully migrated Nigeria into a new currency. I was able to achieve my goal of mopping out the excess liquidity. But what is the macroeconomics and microeconomic cost on the lives of people?
So you get to put that on your CV.
Yes.
I was the CBN governor that did
this.
I did this. Not valuing them, addressing the cost.
I like the way you put it because it's just like the military maybe going into a community and saying that there are a few bad eggs. But let's just finish everybody's collateral damage, and then you sit in front of people and say, look at what I have done. I have killed all of them, but then you killed also innocent people.
Let me take this call. Kunle has been holding for a minute. Good morning, Kunle from Lagos Island. You're live. You're live, sir. Go ahead, please.
I'm okay. Good morning.
Morning.
Yes. What I want to say is that the government does not think of the ordinary people. Even the rich are not crying in Nigeria. Unless Lagos of plastic sources for Abuja, I didn't get money from any ATM. The students were not available. When I got to Abuja thinking I would get money from the ATM, it's not their making. It's not their money. The tax that to return, I have 4 months I was doing transfer. I did transfer. My account was debited. He didn't get his money until 2 days after.
Oh, it's difficult to hear him very well.
Not getting the funds, that's what he's talking about.
But you see, it's one thing, you see, for the policy to be a certain way. But it's another thing for we, the people, to hurt ourselves at the detriment of others. So I work in a bank. Somebody calls me up. I know that all I have here is just 1 million naira to distribute. I know that once it's 8 o'clock, there's going to be a long queue out there. And then one big shot calls me and says, I need 500,000 naira. And I carry that 500,000 naira, I take it to him because he's probably going to give me 50K profit. And then you only put 50K in the ATMs.
It's beyond 50K profits. You know, these banks are business oriented people. If this big shot calls you and you don't deliver this money, they decide to move their cash to another bank. You have lost a customer. So they too are trying to protect themselves, and you will not blame them. What we need is a system that is sincere and trustworthy. So you, as the CBN governor, you release this money to the banks. You know the banks that you have given this money. You know the total amount each bank gets. And you give an instruction. Your ATMs must be loaded or you are penalized. Your ATM. So when the big shots calls this bank, you know, most of them have different accounts in different banks. They call Bank A. Sorry, we don't have this amount of money. I will move my money. Sorry, sir. They call Bank B. We don't have this amount of money. They call Bank C. We don't have this amount of money. They will understand that they actually don't have this amount of money. But where one bank is trying to, okay, let me protect my customer, because they know that the people who are supposed to supervise are not following through. They will find loopholes. That's the Nigerian thing. The fact that Nigerians too are wicked to themselves, we cannot take that one away.
Exactly.
All this church we are going to, I don't know where it leads us to. The mosque we are going to, I don't know where it leads us to. Everybody is still all about me.
So imagine all the banks equally say, no, I can't. But somebody will give and then I will not give. Yes.
Because I got information from a banker that said that CBN has put in personnel in various banks.
Okay.
So you may not even know that they're watching them. So there is no cash that they are. Maybe this was in response to what had happened. But so now they have them in the bank.
In the bank.
Make sure that you're not.
But there's no money again. So what are you having them
So
for
the ones that got for parties, because we saw the party ones now.
Why don't we arrest those ones?
Yes. But my own challenge right now is that with this entire crisis that Nigeria is going through, that Nigerians are going through, is entirely man-made by one policy. And all of us are groaning over a man-made policy. We are paying through our nose through a man-made policy. Nigerians are walking the street because guess what? Public transport system in Lagos and in most of Nigeria does not take POS.
No.
They don't take transfer. You cannot transfer 100 naira or 500 naira for transport fare. So majority of Nigerians are having to pay to withdraw money more than before, and it is all a man-made policy. And yet the complaints are going out, and our president and CBN governor still feels like this collateral damage is worth it for the greater good. Let's all just suffer. It is insensitive. And that is why politicians are saying that there are other reasons for these things. You can't watch your citizens suffer if you don't have a political motive for this thing. And the consistent way with which they are going about it makes people feel, okay, you just want people to be so displeased during election that they would choose to vote a different party. And we need to discuss it.
Yes, and also it would be unfair for government to think that Nigerians just do not want good things, because when this policy was first announced, we all applauded it. I remember also applauding the fact that we were doing the money in our country for the very first time. We're applauding that after many years, in most countries it's every 4 to 8 years, we're doing something right. The reason we are groaning, because that's the word they've been using all day, we are groaning is because you have decided to truncate the process. You have decided to politicize and weaponize the process of, phasing out this money and introducing us gradually into the cashless system. It looks like you're punishing us for daring to be Nigerians. And we're saying that, see, we get this policy, we understand it, we want the best for our country. In fact, in some cases, we can see how it's already helping. But make it in such a way that Nigerians can still live their lives and still cater to their needs while, having this policy. The people that we're copying these things from, the countries that we're copying in, who changed their currencies here and there, we did not hear all these kind of complaints. There's one example that YK brought about, which was the Indian example, and she talked about how people were protesting on the streets. Why would we take the bad example and want to make that the reason for the way we're doing things? There's always a better way to do something. There's always a more humane way of pushing a policy, and that's what I'm asking the CBN to do.
Let me take this call. Good morning, are you there? I think I have a caller. Hello?
I'm here now.
I'm there from London. You're live. Go ahead, please.
6 minutes.
Sorry for that.
Money for these telephone people?
I do apologize.
You have to be quick. When you sit down, phone line out for people to call.
Okay. Go ahead, sir.
My comment is this. Emefiele should not be blamed. God has helped Nigeria. Let's go far as possible. Our president's wife retweeted the video. What evidence do you need? Emefiele is just only one person. The Kaaba, who is doing the remote control, is Asoro. And they are doing it because of one man. Talking to 200 million people of Nigeria. I'm surprised at now that Nigeria don't get quiet. Suffering. People are making mockery of Nigeria here. They show it on BBC. People are struggling to get money, their own money. This is unfair. I don't know why this is still going on, but I'm committing Nigeria to the hands of God. That God take control of Nigeria and He knows what to do. I won't say more than that.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ade. Go ahead, Mbisi.
Yeah, so the policy is not bad in itself. I want to reiterate that. The policy is a good one. So every country that has, been able to survive and make something good out of themselves at different points had to take very strict policies, had to follow through with strict policies, had to implement strict policies that not everybody will be smiling. It will favor some, it will not favor some. However, they always try as much as possible to put the majority of the people into consideration. That's what I'm saying. So the policy is good. You know what you want to save. You want us to introduce us to cashless policy. But you should look at the purchasing power of your people. You should look at the people who make up the majority of the country. The people who are earning less than $1 a day. You should put them into consideration. When you have put them into consideration, you find better ways to implement the same policy we are talking about and ease into it. So you don't go ahead and start printing money when you know the money will not be enough in the first place. That once your big people take out the money, we have nothing left for the majority of the people who you are trying to protect in the long run will not be protected at the end of the day. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So the policy is cool. There's no good time or good way or good to introduce the policy. At some point, we'll have to still make the shift. Yeah. But how we go about the shift, if you are sincere that this is what you want, is what we should take cognizance of.
I get that. And I think that there's some things that are good, but they're not politically expedient. We know, the truth is that it's political season. Around the world, things happen. They stopped. Was it last year they wanted to take off subsidy officially? They stopped it because political season around the country. Things should stop because this is politics. So it's not time for you to. Yes. So if you are on the same party, certain things are not politically expedient. You just don't do it at this time. It's not. It's wrong for you to do it. It's totally wrong and it's a wrong calculation. Which is why El Rufai was alluding to the fact that there's more to this than what that meets the eye.
I don't think it's wrong now. That's not the point. Do you notice that kidnapping has reduced?
I don't know about that.
We have noticed. I read the papers every day now. We take news here. This person, it has reduced. At least 2 days now that I've been on the show, I've not seen kidnapping.
Okay, let me take this call from Chidi.
It has reduced.
Chidi, are you there? Thanks for calling. Are you there?
But there's no cash to pay us.
Or is it Chidi? Go ahead, you're live.
My contribution to this discussion is basically, we Nigerians, we need to divorce ourselves from the emotions of things when things happen in Nigeria. One, take a policy that was introduced to change the currency from what it is, which was for over 19 years, is the right approach. Number one, fraudulent people that print our money, that copies it, they've had time to perfect their profession in doing so for the 19 years that we've not changed the currency. It is not on in any economy. Doesn't happen. In the United Kingdom, gradually the £20 have changed, the £10, the £5, the £50 recently changed, and they made it a compulsory. They gave us a timeline. This is when you have to have this amount of money in your hand. You need to put it into your bank. And the banking process has changed as well. You cannot just approach the bank and collect X amount of money until you want to pay it into somebody's account. It has to transfer from one account to the other. Cannot. What we're doing in Nigeria, we need to. I understand we have rural people. I understand we have people that deal with cash and no other means of dealing in currency in a transaction. But then, the majority of Nigerians need to have a bank account.
Jide,
cannot come to United Kingdom.
Jide, let me stay on you for a minute. Yeah. That but is a big but. Yeah. Because majority of us here don't have the account, which is what I was saying earlier. See, the UK system, for example, everybody has the online. In fact, it's hard for you to use cash. Everybody's, and they have data.
No, I disagree with you.
Everybody,
they're still using books. Banking, I still use banking books for the older people.
The poor people that I know of still have an account. Yeah. They have a way to trace them. They have I don't know what they call it in America, in the UK. They have a social security number where they can trace them. Here, there are people that don't have any data.
We've got NIN. I paid so much money to come back home every time the government introduced new policies. I'll come home, I register my NIN, I register my BVN. These are processes that are beginning at the beginning of mirroring what is happening in the West. We want to live, we want everything in the West to be in our country. We want to live like the Westerners, but we don't want to go through what they're going through to get to where they are.
Thank you, Jide, for your views.
So Jide, you know, you have a point, and you're coming from where you're coming from, and I understand that. But also, this is where we always talk about localizing our solutions. And it takes, to do that, it takes understanding what our issue is. Whether we like it or not, there's a huge majority of Nigerians that are not banked for many reasons.
Yeah.
If today we're talking about diphtheria and the reason why we have an outbreak, still have outbreak of cholera, because healthcare, there's limited healthcare access to these areas. Why do you think that it will be different with banking? We're talking about Boko Haram or insurgents taking over a community, and government is not aware until it's gone months and months. Why do you then think that it's easier to get banking to these people? We're still trying to reach communities. We're still trying to educate people. When every time people read in the papers, they say Nigeria has the highest number of out-of-school children, illiteracy, poverty, what do you think it translates into? This is what it translates into. Many people cannot, banking is like the last thing on many people's minds. Yes, sir. Now, apart from that, we have now a part of the population that, okay, is trying to bank. And then we have an issue of infrastructure and policy. You put your money in bank and then you're charged 23,000 naira for bank charges, from bank maintenance. How much do you even have in the account in the first place? Exactly. And Nigerians have been screaming about this forever. And then there's someone that's saying, I have only 15K, I have only 30K. Am I going to put it in the same bank that these people that even have money are screaming about? There's so much more that needs to be put in place before you and I can start having this conversation at the same level of the UK is doing it or the US is doing it.
When I went to Maiduguri recently and I was flying over, I just saw the land vast, empty, but you see pockets of small communities. So when they say something happened, before they find out in Borno, it might take a week. So these are Nigerians, and sometimes it's difficult for banking to get it. So those guys don't need the bank. So sometimes we think from the Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt thinking.
Yes.
We put your people.
And sadly, I think our policymakers are also thinking in that same mindset as the person I just called. You know, because they tend to travel abroad a lot. Every vacation is abroad. So
their relatives are...
Let me pause you talk because I've been holding for a minute. Good morning, are you there? I have a call. I think it's Joseph from Kaduna. You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yes,
sorry for keeping you. Morning.
I was almost turning off my television.
I'm so sorry, sir.
But because of the comments we need next to you by your left-hand side, that banditry, robbery has been reduced. I want to tell her it's not true. We are still suffering in Kaduna here. And please, I'm getting angry by that statement. It's still going on in Kaduna here. Please.
Yes, just highlighting that robbery, kidnapping is still going on in Kaduna.
Yeah, thank you so much for that update, Joseph. Yes.
Within this month, there was kidnapping, the train station kidnapping.
Yeah.
So we still have, there's still a lot of crime going on. But it is that, is that idealistic mindset that this is the ideal. Everybody should operate like this. Every human being should have a bank account. Every human being should funnel their money through the bank. And I understand the importance of regulators to put a check on what is going on in the country, but you can't do it in isolation, and you cannot do it drastically like this. See this video. You can't. I've said it every day for every week we talk about this thing for the past 3 weeks. I said that you can't change culture in a few weeks. You can't. The culture of people is their way of life, and you can't change that culture. You can't say, stop. That's why they struggled with the policy of stop spraying money. How successful has that policy been? Because there's a culture. It's a culture thing. So there's a culture in Nigeria that supports cash, and it's a source of livelihood for people. And now we have created a business called POS, which is a good business. But now we're profiteering off that POS from people buying money. Who does that?
One that
I buy money.
I can have a call. Let me take a call before I talk about the safer. Good morning. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, you guys.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, my name is Tunde. I just want to make a contribution.
Please do.
Okay, two things. I think earlier you said something when one of the ladies spoke about kids are coming from outside of Nigeria and they are not able to take them. I don't think this policy is targeted at those guys and the lack of skill because those guys coming in to work in Nigeria, if you compare them to the local skilled workers, they are far better than them. And if the policy is actually targeted at that or is part of it, the first thing is to kill the guys at home so that people will not hire foreigners to do the job. But as now, we don't even have guys who are skilled enough to do the job that we are hiring foreigners to do. And if that is the case, and you want to curb that just probably to trace the money, there will open account for foreigners. As of today in Nigeria, I'm aware that foreigners can open bank accounts.
Oh, we lost that call. He was talking about the foreigners thing. Yeah. Okay, let's take a few comments on social media because I know we're going to show a video of some people who are spraying money at politics. This one's the one with the ATM.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's also the challenge, the truth of the reality that we carried in papers today, which is that some parts of Nigeria are spending the CFA.
Yeah, so this is the party one.
People are spending.
So people are here.
That's a new note.
Brand new notes.
How did they get it?
They are spending.
That's 200 naira.
They bought it now.
That's 500. That green one is 500.
They called this one.
What
they didn't buy this one.
They called
They'll pay fine. They'll pay something for it.
They may not pay anything.
Because once you're getting new notes,
I'm telling you, they may not pay anything.
So that's 500 notes and 200 naira.
It's called.
But a part of this country is spending CFA.
Yes.
Because at least
and
it's
the
not
borders.
Yes. So I simply just trade my money. Maybe I buy goats and give the person naira, and then I sell my goat and say I'm only collecting CFA for my money. So a part of Nigeria is resorting to another currency just so that they can have liquidity.
Please add to the fact that BDCs are also selling nairas now.
Not dollar.
Dollar business is
not profitable.
Like naira business. I was even thinking, you know that urgent 2K joke? I said, I need urgent 2K. I am today. Anyway, let me read some of them.
And we have to wrap up, but let's take a few comments.
The banks are not helping matters, so also the POS operators. It's a corruption spree at the moment. Rolake O says, we make policies that eventually benefit the elite and create black market amongst the citizens. We Nigerians are opportunists and it has become a norm. The Nigerian rulers didn't think about the average petty trader whose child needs money to buy food, snacks in school, God day.
So boost your social psyche says, nobody saw the current quagmire coming. That was why everyone supported the policy. But the criticism is not about the policy, it's about the implementation. 6 months is ideal for it.
Exactly. What's the rush?
This. Yes.
That's the problem. What is the rush, Emefiele? What is the rush?
Block something.
What is the rush? You want to block some? What are you blocking?
Speculations.
It's election.
And
so,
conspiracy
if you wanted to block elections, you should have started it from maybe like November last year, October.
To gather it back now.
When you don't have a proper goal put in place.
Oh, gosh.
That's what this is.
All right, we have to wrap up on this. We want to take a few comments, but I think that's all we have. But I think we have Hassan. Let me just take Hassan. Good morning, Hassan. Are you there?
Good morning, everybody.
Hello, sir.
Good morning.
This is no time for denial. This is no time for evasion, neither anything. This issue of money, this issue of petroleum product scarcity is targeted towards one man. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, let us say it here. And is done officially to incite the Nigerian people against him, not to put him into power. That is the issue. But the question we should ask ourselves, with the problem on our hands now, is the election going to hold? I have that over it. Because now, this issue of people...
So that's the point Rufai was trying to make, that listen, this is targeted at Asiwaju. And the truth is that when you put a nation in chaos, when your party is controlling the government, and you deliberately put your nation in this kind of chaos, how do you convince a voter to vote for you? It's almost impossible. It's totally impossible.
33 says, I've never seen my country like this. No light, no money, bank app is down. You cannot ground the economy of a country because of election. There's life before election, during election, and
it'll be live after
election.
election. So, so also, I mean, whoever becomes president must ensure that the fact that one man can wake up one morning and make a policy that grounds in a nation like this should be reviewed.
Seriously.
It should. You cannot have a situation
the
whereby
president or the man is himself.
even the president should not
That's
use
the
his
backing of the
discretion.
president.
If the president cannot, there are three
backing of
arms,
the president.
but there are three arms of government. The reason why we have three arms is so that one person cannot wake up one morning and just make a decision. People must all agree. So, regardless of who becomes either president or governor of Central Bank or the House of Assembly, the Speaker, everybody must know that there are checks and balances. Somebody cannot wake up and say this is the way and that is it. No, everyone's
That's when
going.
we operate
We have
through
to.
democracy.
Exactly.
But so far, that's not what we are operating.
So, whoever becomes president, this is a major red flag that they must address.
Yeah.
One person or one group or one arm of government cannot have that so much
that
control
power. Yeah.
and power over others. See how long it took for Emefiele to stand in front of the National Assembly. You know, we're calling him, he keeps telling that he can choose not to. I mean, so this is a problem. Anyway, we have to wrap up on this. I mean, I think I have one final call. Good morning, Dorcas. Are you there? Thanks for calling.
Yeah, good morning. You ladies are doing a wonderful job.
Thank you,
God bless
Dorcas.
each and every one of you on this
Thank you.
morning.
Thank you.
Yeah, please. I know your view is widely watched across the world. You people should help us to bet them. Because with the present situation of this country, you are either killing for something or begging for something presently. And it's really, really crazy. Buhari, to the best of my knowledge, this is the second time. Why will you wait to this time to implement this policy? Why? That is my question. May God bless your team. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. All right, I think we can wrap up on this. Thank you so much. In a nutshell, we hope that NNPC has said that in 2 weeks, there'll be fuel. I hope that can be shorter. Yes. According to them, they're going to be giving, opening up new private depots and be selling at the approved rate. So hopefully that will open more doors, I hope. And the next 2 weeks, the queue should be off. I hope Emefiele would extend his policy to a point where Nigerians are able to swap their naira and still run their businesses successfully. That's all we can take on this segment.